Welcome to the Paracast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Hernandez. Joining me tonight, he calls every fat kid in his son's class that little shadow 2. It's Robert Wyatt.
Little shadow 2, little shadow 2 compact. The compact is the kids that are losing weight.
He sees the fat mom like, look at that freaking, it was AO1Z or whatever.
That one's got some brass grips on her.
And he told his plastic surgeon to make him look like a hot Ash Ketchum. And then the plastic surgeon replied, one Elliot Page treatment coming up. Oh. It's Jared Stepp.
Yes. I, too, need my boobs removed.
Mental illness and women. It's like they go hand in hand once they hit 30 and start collecting cats.
It's ouch. I don't know how everyone would take it if like they did make a Pokemon live action movie and Elliot Page was Ash Ketchum. Who would make it better? Who would make a better one? You need a high voice. Someone looks perpetually 13 years old, and would be, yeah. You want to get seen shocked by freaking animals. Anyways, went over to the Grip Keeper store this week, and bought myself one of their Glock 17 Grip Keepers. Not the squeezing Grip Keeper, because if you guys don't know, Grip Keeper's like the kind of like a blue gun company. They'll cut the slide for an optic, so you can direct mount an optic if you're choosing, or they have like a magnet option. You can magnet on an optic, and they have like 3 different versions. They have like a laser, which is kind of like a cert trainer. Then they have like a grip squeezing kind of one to help you work on your grip strength or gripping the pistol. And then they have one that just has an actuating trigger. And so I got one of the ones that had an actuating trigger, so when I'm gone at work for a while or whatever like that, you can carry this thing around,
drive around your truck,
practice with it,
just pointing guns at things and pulling the trigger.
That didn't work for that old dude up in Washington who was riding around in his jazzy scooter with his airsoft gun.
Oh man.
I should have got the laser gun, and so when I'm doing like a pre-trip around the tractor, I can like aim at like the brakes. Brakes good. Spring's good. The U-spring's good. Tires good. Tread good. Do something like that. But I got it for a Delta Point. I have this one Delta Point I was going to throw on there because it has these 2 gigantic scratches where the previous owner decided to try to cut new threads in it so he could try to get the screws out because he over-Loctited it.
I don't know who would do that.
Sounds like a personal problem.
I have no idea who would do that.
So I'm sitting around getting that, messing with that. And the other thing, too, from like a couple weeks ago show when Jared went out on his little trip. And so I've been actually sitting there on the dry fire, like basically the whole time. It's just like try to remember every little bit of the trigger while I'm pressing it while keeping the hand tension.
Are you doing the Jared's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing?
I was just kind of messing around with that, just trying to like reacclimate myself to kind of do that. I was going to go unlock some of the Berettas downstairs and like try to remember that, because it's the one thing I remember about with my Beretta triggers was really kind of setting up the double action to be smooth. And then like you would have on the single action, you'd have the pre-travel, the wall kind of engagement. And then I would like polish the sear and the hammer just so I knew exactly when that would slip.
Right.
And then the brake.
And I think that's really important with like double action or striker fired guns, is actually knowing when your gun goes off. That's very useful.
Yeah, I mean, because you have something like this is a Apex trigger in a Glock 17. And then like, so there would be like the wall. But the funny thing is about the Glock is the nature of how the connector interacts with the trigger bar.
Right.
It is a slide.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, like, sometimes the slide will let you go a little bit farther, and sometimes it slips right off. Because basically what you're interacting with is 2 points, and then when that friction of those 2 points, the trigger bar overcomes the amount of tension that's on the connector, then you're going to have the drop down. And sometimes, by the way they interact and set back up, sometimes that connector slips a little bit earlier or a little bit later than you would have like on something that had a sear and hammer engagement, because those little surfaces are a little bit tighter and they're stacked right on top of each other. And it works off of one pivoting out of the way, and the Glock connector system works on one sliding down. And so there's definitely a lot more play after like kind of when you actually get the engagement of having a wall when they're actually touching each other or when they actually go off. But it's not unmanageable. But just sitting here looking at it, messing around, I'm like, okay. So I definitely trying to like feel out the apex triggers a little bit better. So when I'm sitting there screwing around with them,
I haven't shot any of my 2011s recently, and Utah State's coming up. I'm not even signed up for it, so I don't even know if I can shoot it. But I've been laughing about it.
Do what I always recommend: just show up with $100 and.
Well, my problem though is I don't know what I should shoot. I should shoot like my Atlas, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm going to AD that fucking thing. I shot that Glock so much, and I got so used to prepping the trigger on every single movement. And as I'm landing, I'm prepping the trigger, taking out that first 1 to 2 pounds, and hitting the wall, and then lining it up and breaking that 3, 4, 5. And I'm like, oh shit! If I got kind of used to doing that, and now if I take this out and run around, I'm gonna just
shooting is a disruption. Like learning a new platform in handgun shooting is timing of what your IC, what your hand pressure is, and what the trigger does. Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is like the timing is a lot easier on a gun that's heavy and optically sighted and has a very light trigger with very minimum play. But when you go from something like that light to something heavier, or you have something that's very much heavier, and then you try to go back the other way, like the timing difference between having like a 3-pound trigger and then like a 6-pound Glock trigger, like
it's significant.
It's significant. It's like when you take someone who shoots 2011s their entire life and you hand them a double action gun, and then you just kind of see the immediate double action.
Wait, we're talking about Ron Avery,
kind of
right?
pull, yeah, pull, stack, dip, whatever. You see the disruption in real time. So like I remember going and shooting like a Barry Steel Open, and I had practice, and then like before that I just put in like my Apex kit into my Smith & Wesson M&P, my Gen 1. And that went from like 6 pounds to like the full Apex tactical competition kit was like a 2-pound trigger.
Yeah.
It was one of the scariest like, and granted, like all hats off to Apex because they put out a commercial 2-pound trigger and none of them AD'd.
None of them killed an airman.
None of them allegedly maybe played grab ass with the airman and shot him. But like none of them did that. But I remember pulling up on my first target on the first stage of the first match and bringing up the gun and shooting a shot like 5 feet to the left of the first target.
Oopsie-doopsie.
Like, oh, yeah. I mean,
you know, the funny thing is with my shadows, Tommy, the only time I've ever basically AD'd was on the double. Because it'd be and
because you're trying to like do the double stack.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get through it. I'm trying to get on that thing, and it's never. That's the good thing about the way I do it, right? I mean, it's always that bullet's always going. It's going in the direction because by the time I'm actually taking that creep out of taking the double out.
This is something I want to say because Robert's leading into this. When I'm pulling the trigger and I'm taking the slack out, I'm already on target. It's not like I'm running around pulling the trigger out. You're on target when you're pulling the trigger out. But still, it can accidentally go off before you saw your red dot. So I just want to clarify that.
It's
not running around like a 3-gunner
and
bouncing off rounds into shooting at God.
Well, I mean, the best one that ever happened was like we were shooting. I think it was actually one of the cop matches, and I drew the gun out, and I'm starting to push out on it, and it was aiming because the gun goes off before, but it hit that piece of steel and drove it down, and I'm like, and you have that pause of like, no one's telling me to stop. Oh, go.
Yeah, like it's. Just because it's the same conversation about being gay, which is just because I love or aim different than you doesn't mean I wasn't loving or aiming. And so, like, even though you weren't, I would say the one thing about being on target, and this is kind of the interesting thing, is like being on target. Like, there's a big piece of brown paper down there that's made out of cardboard. the target you're aiming for is the A zone. So just
Speak
because
for
the
yourself,
round impacts, quote unquote, on target does not mean that like the gun went off when it was supposed to. And that's the thing is with all trigger enhancement kits, whatever you're doing, there is that time where you are getting used to the actual pressure of the thing. I remember when Leo switched over from double actions and started shooting tac sports, and then like talking about like, you know, getting close to like torching a round off on the draw, not in his holster, but like in that touch the trigger prep zone phase of like 45 degrees and up. It's just like, yep, that can be a serious problem. And the funny thing is like going into the gun stores now, you think some pistol triggers are scary? Go handle the rifle section. The rifle section on triggers is ridiculous. I handled one of the Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 Pros. They're a 3-gun competition one, and it has this straight trigger, and the trigger's got like a little pad. It's like a Geissele 3-gun or whatever trigger. And I swear, like, I put my finger on that thing, and I just brought it back. It was like a mouse click. And I'm just like, goodness gracious. Some of those like precision bolt guns, like it's the triggers. The triggers nowadays are incredibly, incredibly light. Like there's no sense of feel. So I understand like Jared's because he's like went through a class where it was like
all
here's
stock
the spectrum, Atlas, all these things is like there's no feel needed, no feel, and then it's just like all the trigger shooting and all the precision shooting requires feel, and it's just
like with
you need wall.
Well, with all of my guns that I've ever like worked on, like the Shadows, and like if I've ever done anything with like a 1911, I want like I've shot some people's 2011s that like you touch the trigger and there's no take up. It's like trigger boom, and it's like
I like a little bit of movement.
Enough. Yeah, I want there to be, I don't know, like a millimeter or two of something, of some kind of a take up so that I can touch the trigger, take the slack out of it, and then break it. Even though generally I'm going to be hammering my way through it as quickly as I can, I still want to have that little bit because I came from a Glock world where, and that's where Jared's kind of, you're getting to is like, you know, there's that sweep. There's that initial sweep of take up before it hits that wall. I've always liked that because that to me it's that moment of like safety. Of like I can... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just that. It's that little bit of like, it's the breath that I just need that little breath and then I'll break the trigger.
Yeah. Like the combination of the 1911 with like the long trigger format. So not like the short trigger, the long trigger, and then being able to actually have an actuating kind of wall. And then the wall could be like three pounds to actually break the trigger. But like there'd be like a pound, maybe a pound and a half of like pre-travel movement. Like you would handle some of those guns like the
That's exactly what my duty gun is right now. It's 1 to 2 pounds of pre-travel and then about 3 pounds to break it.
Yeah.
And bam.
Yeah. And like some of those guns that would like you would take your stock gun and then like you'd mess around with like the leaf spring a little bit and you'd kind of tune that so you would have that just kind of nice little prep and then a break that you would actually have to slap the trigger. Because to like run all the way through. Now people talk about like slapping the trigger. They're not actually slapping the trigger. It's just called touching. Like I just touch the trigger really fast and the thing goes off. Now I have to crank through the trigger to get that thing to
It's like
break.
paintball when you started doing the 2 fingers and going electronic triggers. That's the next step, gentlemen. Electronic triggers on a 2011 platform.
And your dog's going to get shot.
Worth it? My dog's old. He needs to get shot. Rocky's 18.
18?
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
We give him pizza.
For a small dog, that's
pizza and steak, and he survives just for that.
You know it's an unjust world when little dogs live forever and the big cool dogs die young. I don't know how I feel about that.
You got to give your dog pizza and steak, and they'll stick around because they're like, this is an option.
For breakfast every morning, I make Paige 3 slices of bacon, two eggs, grilled cheese sandwich on like a big piece of sourdough toast.
Wow.
Like I've been doing that for months. So I make.
Can I be your wife?
It's a breakfast sandwich. Oh, I don't mind. I like making these delicious egg
You'll
sandwiches
okay.
that I can't. I can't.
I'll suck your dick.
No pushback. I like to feel like I'm in charge. But anyway. So it's just like she gets her cholesterol check, and she goes, "My cholesterol's great." And I'm like, "This is amazing. Like you're living the life, lady. Here you go. Have this. Have some more Reese's peanut butter ice cream. Everything's great." So
well, the
other thing
they feed their dog a sausage McMuffin every single day, and that dog looks like a fucking root beer barrel.
Well, that's
He's
the
not
bread.
doing well. It must be. That's it, right? It's just the bread.
It's not the.
It's the
bread
bread
makes you fat.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, bread will mess you up. But oh man, it's a little sidetrack. We made this brisket queso macaroni and cheese meal
that
last
looked
night.
good.
It serves like 30 people. We made that thing, dude. That thing is so freaking good, and it was spicy as heck. But it's a little calmed down now. We throw a little guacamole in it, but like it was a freaking most delicious thing. We're supposed to save it for meal prep, and then I got up this morning. I was like, I don't really want to cook. Make Paige your egg sandwich. Had some of that, and then we got up from a nap, and I started eating some of that. And she's like, "Can I have some of that?" I was like, "Babe, go at it." And so now we're just eating this same meal forever, and it's too spicy for the children. So it's absolutely fantastic. Costs about $30 to feed like 70 people with it. It's freaking delicious. Anyways, Robert, would you anything that you like to add to the conversation of what you did this week?
Oh, we're definitely talking about this. So I went and shot a match. It was a fun match. It was good. We had 7 stages. There was a few things that were mildly annoying.
Slipsa or your match?
Slipsa.
Oh, okay.
No, we had the indoor match. The indoor match was fun. It was the new shooter match. We didn't have very many people. It was only 5.
Oh.
So I opened it up to. I was like, please, anybody just come. That way the army's not losing money, right? Because you can't have that. But it ended up being fun. I mean, the 5 new guys, they all signed up. They're coming again next week, and huzzah, that's awesome. But we had Slipsa Saturday, and it was fun. The stages were good. Our squad, after the first stage, we ran into the squad in front of us, and for the rest of the day, we were like 20, 25 minutes waiting for them to finish the effing stage all day long. And it's
why?
And I asked. So Tyler was shooting with him, and I asked him, and he's just like, "Look, there's a handful of new guys. Like there's some copper new guys, and they're slow doing new guy things. It's like they're slow to reset things like that. But then you have the old. There's a pair of old guys on here who are the old ROs." That are like, nobody go and paste anything until I've looked at it. You need to wait for me to come by. Because like normally we're just like, 2 alpha, we yell it across the thing, and it's good. It works. Yeah. But the old guys are just like, they're dog ass slow, and they're not helping reset. And so you take all that stuff, and it just adds up. And like we showed up on one of the stages, and they're like, yeah, it's our second shooter. I'm like, oh God, get a gun. I'm done. And it's the weirdest thing. I mean, we didn't get out of there till it was like 2:40, which for our match is
nothing to complain about compared to like how a lot of matches go for a lot of people. But 2:40 for Slipsa is pretty intense. Like the protocol for scorekeeping at a local match at your level 1 local match is you should only be about 2 targets behind or 3 targets behind the RO by the time the shooter's done.
Well, I know
you need to be scoring the targets that you cannot see because the RO and the shooter are in the way. And then once they call range is clear, you walk up, score those 3, and say, scoring complete. I
know one of the ROs is not naming names, just special, and They go up there and they have to, like with a microscope, look at every single target. And he's sitting there looking at it. And he's like, oh, should we get an overlay? And I'm looking at it with him. He's like, does anybody have a card? And I'm like, it's 2 alpha. The holes are right in the middle of the target. Oh yeah, right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a great thing about making sure that the score is as accurate as possible but there's 1/1000% of shots, not even that. What would you say? Like 1/3000% of bullets that actually need to be overlaid and scored. Everything else can be seen with the naked eye.
In a 6-7 stage match, I'll pull out a card once. Everything else is like I mean, I'm all the way up range, and I'm looking at the target that he's looking at, and I'm like, it's 2 alpha. I mean, we know what it is. You don't need to get there and tongue the hole. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah,
you could put some tahini on that thing, and
they were thinking about it.
Spritz some lime on there, and make yourself a drink.
And the other thing that's just weird is like, so I mean, I go at these matches and I take pictures of everything, and I've come to realize, and I don't know why it is for the life of me, but there are ROs who they think it is their job to have that timer like 2 inches away from the shooter at all times, no matter like where they are on the stage. And so they're literally running with that thing like jammed into their ear for some unknown reason. And when you ask them, they're like, well, I got to control the shooter. What happens if they turn around? Well, if they turn around, then you yell at them to stop. No, I got to control them.
Here's the thing with people and controlling the shooter. You can only use your words to control the shooter because they have a gun and they're the only one that's loaded at the time. So you use your words, and then your words convey them to stop. If people are grabbing the gun and turning around, the worst thing would probably be trying to grab the gun at the same time as they're turning around, i.e. the trigger weight talk we just had a talk about. Because if the trigger's really light and they're bad enough to turn around, most times people do not turn around with their finger outside the trigger guard. They're bad at the game. So you just use your words, give them a little space, they'll be fine.
Yeah, well, if you go through half the pictures that I've now thrown out, a huge chunk of them have the person shooting, and the RO is literally like inches away from him, and I'm just like, bro, you don't need to do this at all. I mean, that timer, it's like, for the life of me, like when I run a shooter, like I'll start them, I put the timer right up next to their ear because like a lot of people just can't hear with all the thing, and then I just like I hold back, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the clock. I'm seeing it's ticking up, so I know that it's recording the shot. These timers are very sensitive. You don't need to be raping the guy while he's trying to shoot a stage.
Well, half a shooter position back would be fine.
But
and
what
the
if
other
it's
problem
fun,
too,
Robert? What if it's fun?
If it's fun, I think that'd be awesome. The problem
I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me.
Well, I understand that, but if you do that, then DNRI is going to go and pull your RO card, and you won't be able to be president anymore.
Joke's on you. I don't have one.
Take that.
The more trouble comes out from the retreat of the shooter when the RO is close.
Yeah.
Some of the sketchiest shit I've ever seen has always been shooter needs to retreat to finish off a stage or target because he's paying attention and the RO's not. And then there's the run into each other or possibly turn into each other or whatever. Like I saw a guy get his entire belly wiped by a 1911 at an IDPA match.
That was the best.
And it was just, that was kind of freaky. That was freaky. But the other part is like, all right, like maybe you're under the impression that we're still using like the ProTac 1 timer or whatever from back in the day, and you need to be a little bit more close up, or it's a little bit less sensitive, or whatever like that. Or
apparently
everyone's used to
Slips
3-gun suppressed shooters.
So Slips is looking at moving everything over to Kestrel because apparently they've had some bad results, or they've had some bad interaction with the commander timer guys, which is interesting to me because I mean, every time what's that?
That's too bad.
It is, because it sounds like somebody at the club basically yelled at and threatened the commander people, and so the commander people at this point are just like, go pound sand, which makes me sad because like I've had to call them up and talk to him, email and things like that, and the dude's been nothing but nice. I mean, he's been great to work with, and so I'm like, cool, thanks, I appreciate all your help. And he spent 45 minutes trying to fix my my timer on the phone with me, and it's just like, I don't know what happened. So now they're spending more money. They're buying these Kestrel timers. And the Kestrels are great. They're super loud, but they're bulky as all hell. And that's kind of the downside of them. But I don't know.
They're waterproof.
Are they really?
Yeah, that's the nice thing about Kestrels is, as far as I understand, are the only timer that's genuinely weather and waterproof.
That's sick.
That's their big selling point.
Yeah, all the boys up in Washington would probably really love that. Well, and Marengo, for that matter. Yep, but I don't know. It should be fun. Next week we're going to be building the state match, and so we'll start doing that on Saturday, and hopefully all the kids who are going to go up to shoot caps will actually maybe not, and then come help us. I'm sure they're all going to shoot the match, but it should be fun. I mean, the state match will be here in 2 weeks, and we'll get a lot of good people coming. It'll be fun.
I've completely spaced on it. I could probably just take a couple days off and go shoot the dang thing if I could get signed up for it.
That's the thing. I
go help build it.
I haven't done anything.
Jared, I'll tell you, me and you will start a squad of our own, and if you AD or if I shoot one over the berm, we'll just say, hey, we're all a little stressed.
We'll just change our names to something else and then keep shooting.
Walk back. Now, let's save tape. You shot the first 3 targets. Let's save tape. We're going to start you over on
Mulligan.
the time. You start on target 4 and just work your way off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
because like a 5% difference in score is not a big deal.
Yeah,
no,
you'll be all right.
It's perfectly reasonable. And fortunately for you, I know the guy who has all the iPads, so we could probably talk to him and get you signed up for the match. It'll work out really well. I mean, even though the match is completely full, but it'd be fine. It'd be fine.
This is one of those times where Paige doesn't know enough about this. So if I went downstairs and went like, I don't have any single gun I could use in this match, they changed the rules. She'd be like, well, do you need to go get one, babe? And I'd be like, yes.
I need this Atlas.
I do need to go get one. I couldn't even do an Atlas.
Erebus.
I need this thing. Well, I need 2 Shadow 2s. Robert has 2 Shadow 2s.
Yeah.
You need 3 to make one that works.
Yeah.
But it's the premiere. It's the premiere shooting.
Yeah.
I am just so grateful that at this point, everybody who's shooting, they're all shooting Shadow 2s, and everybody's shooting 135 grain bullets. I mean, did I have something to do with it? I'm not going to say that I did, but I might have. And we're going to go with that.
Robert's over here being proud that he started his gay pride parade.
Speaking of gay pride, there's a guy at the match. He's wearing this black shirt on it. It says, I heart anal. And I'm walking down, I'm like, good for you.
Good for him.
Well, it's completely based off of taking and receiving.
Don't push back.
I haven't done any shooting stuff. Just been busy with work. And the kids just started up again with school, and that's been fun.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I'm going to be going back to grave shift soon, and so that'll throw a wrench in more things. But who knows? Maybe I'll get an assignment change here later on in the year. We'll see.
Why did you go back to graves?
Because they did another bid, and grave shift is actually better for the family. Grave shift, oddly, you see your family significantly more, especially during school.
All you have to do is stay up way later and sacrifice a little bit of sleep, and you have everything. That's the funny thing about grave shifts or working overnight. Like if I work 10 p.m. to 10 a.m., I get home. And, like, if I stay up a little bit later, people start coming home. I get to hang out with them. And all I have to do is push the sleep and then to the last absolute minute and then go to sleep. And then you're just like, I got 4 hours of sleep. But I got to work and I got family time. And I feel like a more enjoyable person.
And our schedule is a lot better than that because it's 8:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. So I basically get home at 6:30 a.m., shower, go to bed. And then I wake up when the kids come from school. They come home from school at 3:30, and I can hang out with the family from 3:30 until 8, and then I go to work. And so you get a lot of time with your family on grave shift. And so that's the one that has been chosen.
Awesome.
Yep. Now, and the one thing too is like when you work those kind of shifts, you don't feel like you've been up all night. You just feel sometimes like you got up early. Like I feel like I just got up early. I've been having a productive day. That's all I feel like. It is just like I've been up since 8 p.m. last night.
I can't let the sun catch me. If the sun catches you, then your body naturally wants to start staying up. But if you can get home at like 6:30 and then get inside, and then you're like, yes, sleep.
No. I feel like dog shit, and then that sun comes up, and then you get that natural like farmer's second wind or whatever like that, and I'm just like, I could be up for hours. Like I could easily stay up till 8 p.m. again.
As long as you keep moving.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop and you sit down, if you sit on a couch, just instantaneously.
Well, when people were just mean to me every time I showed up, I could sleep. But now people are nice to me, so I was just like, I feel like I could stay up and be around nice people all the time. I should stay up more. Anyway, if you want to shoot a Shadow 2 with 135 grain bullets and possibly sneak into a state match that's completely full, you should head on over to Dominate Defense or American Operator Gear. American Operator Gear, get the best concealment belts, duty belts in the industry. Load them up. Supportive ratcheting system. Everything is fantastic with it. Use promo code PARA10 and save 10% off your order. You can also try to heavy up your gun. Change some springs, do everything, get some tungsten guide rods, get tungsten batteries. Check out W74 guide rods. Use promo code PARA10 and save 10% off your order. And Rune Tactical, get a +1 bullet in your magazines. And check out your other spring kits and all the other accessories he has there.
Yeah,
use the same promo code PARA10.
Tyler, replace your springs. Go here and replace your springs. Just trust me on this.
Spring replacements, very, very critical to making firearms function.
You got to do that spring replacement at least one time a year. You go to Rune Tactical. You buy an air. It's a good deal.
What imagine like you're looking at it and like all of his bullets are just like halfway down inside the magazine. There's like barely enough pressure just to like limp it up there, and it's like it has the pressure of like a 60-year-old guy.
Give it a blue pill.
Yeah, it's like when was the last time you replaced your springs? You're supposed to replace them.
Maybe no, he didn't say that. There's the +1, so having the magazine that goes to 24 rounds. And then, like, if you're looking at the stage, it's probably not a bad idea to have some magazines that have a plus power spring in it that maybe only hold 21 rounds or 20 rounds, like if it's a 16-round course of fire or something like that, just to have the surety of what's going to go on.
See, but that would require a level of like pre-thought that I am completely incapable of. I mean, it was like I was talking to Brandon yesterday, and it's like I was telling him, I really need a lane to actually like mark each one of my magazines 1, 2, 3, 4. If I did that, maybe I'd be that smart.
I think you could just buy the different base pads and mark your like 20 rounders a certain color and then whatnot. Like it's nice having some of the HK stuff or whatever like that, because like they have their factory 20 round mag and you can shave off some stuff and make
alternately I could just have Endurance Laser Works do it because it just looks cooler because she's just good.
Yeah, you could have them engrave it or whatever.
Take that.
Oh, get my pinky around. Oh.
Get a spring in it, make it run 20 rounds.
Fancy.
Probably would not be the best idea for your reload to finish the rest of the stage to be a properly sprung, intentioned magazine.
That's absurd.
Questions for the show from Brian. If SLPSA is not going to allow ARs to be used at the range, how is the Not a Cop 2-gun match going to work?
This is the last match.
Red Ryder BB guns.
This is the last match that they're allowing it at, and the main reason is because we had a prior commitment with them, and we already sold, obviously, a bunch of spots with it being a 2-gun, and so they said, we're not going to do any more, but you guys are going to be the last gun. So the Not a Cop 2-gun will be the last public AR 223 rifle match at SLPSA for some time. There's been some talks about trying to potentially implement what they were doing at IPSC Nats, where like you can't put your barrel above the berm. And there's been some talk about that. I know a couple of the board members are wanting to bring back the rifle matches, but they're also nervous and scared about the state losing the range, which is everybody should be worried about that, because if SLPSA dies, we definitely don't want that to happen. And so I would happily...
We shouldn't worry about that.
What do you mean?
Because all manner of atrocities are done in the name of think of the kids. Let's be safe. Yeah, you can take that to the nth degree, which is exactly what we're doing. We have no issues if a 9mm goes out, but somebody torches a 223 out, and suddenly we're like, let's just ban the entire thing. And at a certain point, they're going to do exactly that. They're going to ban. They're going to be like, okay, well, no muzzles of any kind can be over the berm.
Right. Think
of the children. It's all the safety. I get it. But at a certain point, we play a dangerous game, it's just the eventual mission creep of what happens every single time you have an old board who is afraid of their shadow.
And I get what you're saying there, Robert. But at the same time, I also would rather have, if I could guarantee to have pistol matches there at SLPSA for forever, versus maybe losing them because we're having guys show up with 223s who are retarded and double tapping at God. I can see what you're saying, and I agree with you. You're always worried about the potential legislating safety doesn't really work. You need to just have safe people. But the problem is SLPSA is getting to be such a big club. It's a big organization. It's a big everything. I mean, we'll argue that the same thing essentially is what happened to SUPS. It was arguably one of the best clubs in the whole country, and then they started getting into issues with their governing board because of alleged rounds going over the berm, and now they're having to rebuild everything after taking a 2-3 year hiatus.
Yeah.
And I just don't want that to happen. And I mean, I understand what you're saying, Robert, but I'm nervous about it, and I'm not sure, because God help me if somebody torches a round off the berm, over the berm at the cop match, they're going to try to kill me. So,
well, this kind of reminds me of the border problem,
Mexicans,
with all the illegal immigrations. Mexicans, one, besides the food, some of the young women, sometimes they're just, besides those two criteria, but you get them pregnant, they fatten all up. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Cut that out of the show, Tom, and post. We'll get that in post. What I'm saying is we don't need new border rules. We could just enforce the ones we have and stop the problem.
That's true.
This, here we go. We're at the 10-year reign of well, it didn't hurt anybody. Keep them in the match. And now, all of a sudden, it didn't take us too long. All it took us was for technology and the guns that people were running and the way that they were running them to catch up. And this is what happens. You let people run around with their fingers in the trigger or be undisciplined, and maybe the guy who torched the round off over, people don't understand how he did it or how it was physically possible to do it. But all those possibilities of how the gun goes off is his finger in the trigger. So the 180 breaks, rounds going off over the berm, people accidentally shooting these are all products of people not being too concerned about how they have to appear, how they have to be safe and also appear to be safe while prosecuting stages. And that's just because it's just well, nothing bad happened. We'll let them keep going. And so now it's just now we got to cut everything because we can't trust people.
Right.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I don't know. From Ron Davison, what's the ideal squad size?
12.
9.
9's too small.
9's too small. It is too small.
Well, you run into the problem of being overworked because you're axed 5 guys and then you have 4 guys to reset. I mean, per stage if everything works pretty well.
Ron's asking the question from a USPSA perspective. But I just had it in my head. I'm still challenge kind of doesn't matter, right? I mean, you need somebody to click the timer off. and enter the score, and then the shooter. It's, I mean, ironically, you could actually do it with 2 people pretty easy. It's a weird thing to think about, but it
still challenge. You could have 5 and you could cook with 5 people. Like that's getting to the point where like you just got done shooting the last stage, and by the time it's your turn on the next stage, is like the gun's still kind of hot. Like you could cook with 5 people and still challenge.
I'm actually gonna for the state match, I'm basically gonna shoot through all of Thursday. And I'm just going to get one person just to follow me through every single one of the stages and get it over with so that Friday, I can just run.
What are you going to do? Oh, you're just going to be captain of the ship?
Yeah. It's a small enough squad that to try and actually shoot an RO and do that, I think it would just be death. And so I was talking to Blake, and he's just like, yeah, I mean, like I'll shoot a bit with the staff, and then at some point I'll just break off and just go shoot all the rest of the stages and be done with it. I don't know. I'm slowly getting to the point where I don't know if I want to shoot all day matches anymore. Maybe.
And by all day matches, everybody, he means like a slip set all day match, which is like 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. That's what he's.
Damn it, Tommy! You know me. I want a warm glass of milk and Matlock.
You need to go hit the gym, get into some shape here, and then be like at work. I want you to turn off the air conditioning and open up the window. Just get used to the heat, the elements outside.
Dude,
because
is seriously on you. The guy Davis, who I share a room with, he is the biggest bitch I have ever met in my life. And if it gets below 78 in that room, he turns on the little heater thing, and he puts a freaking sweater or a blanket on because he's like cold. Oh yeah, I'm not joking. I'll send you a picture tomorrow. I
know
it sucks.
Yuck. That's hot.
I spent like 9 weeks doing tractor trailer, and then another 3 weeks of doing being at home, you know, and I have air conditioning now, so it's pretty nice. And so anyway, I started doing package car, and I was like, that Monday, I was just like, dude, this sucks, dude. It's hot. Well, how hot is it? Is it 95, 97 degrees? Like I'm hot. Like I'm hot. I'm uncomfortable. I'm more tired than I would be if I would. And so like now I kind of get the mindset.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, this is not good. This is terrible. But I'm hot.
The last couple weeks have been awful. Or it's been hitting up 100.
Dude,
hitting 100.
Wednesday was nonsense, and then that cloud cover came in, and it was still hot. So it was kind of like, this is Utah muggy. Remember, we're 100% like dry here. So when you get a little bit of humidity, it just sucks the life right out of you.
I don't know how people who live in humid places live.
You just sweat.
Yeah, it sucks.
You just sweat, swass everywhere.
I tell people Utah's the greatest place in the world, and they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, we don't have humidity. It's the best place in the world.
It's correct. It's true.
Let's see. Last question from Kevin Isaac. Or maybe last question. I don't know. Question for the show. How can USPSA have more outreach to the tactical crowd? The people who post about some paper target killing me because I didn't engage it in a tactical order.
Most of that stuff's all going away now. I think people kind of get the translation between being able to shoot USPSA or shoot targets effectively and efficiently, and sorting out the tactics issue versus the skill with a handgun or skill with a weapon issue.
I would argue that you need to do it the Chick-fil-A route, where you
stand out there with chicken and hand it to them.
You make a product that is so fucking good that you actively go against the common, like, super in vogue thing, and you say, yeah, we're Christian. We hate the gays. We donate money to anti-gay organizations. We don't work on Sunday, and we pray to God. But guess what? Our chicken fucks. And you know what? Everybody goes to Chick-fil-A. The liberals, the gays, everybody goes because it's fucking good. And it doesn't matter if you...
Have you guys had the breakfast burrito?
See? Tom's getting derailed.
That damn thing is good.
He's salivating.
Sauce is on point.
They had that peach milkshake going.
Oh, yeah.
Peach milkshake.
It's tits. So awesome. that's what USPSA needs to do. It's regardless of the controversy, regardless of what's going on around the board, around whatever, we need to create a product that is so much fun. Doesn't matter if it hates the gays. It doesn't matter if it hates whatever. It's too damn fun to not do it. Well, and that's how you need to run a match.
100%.
USPSA, I mean, I would like to see them start advertising on YouTube with specific gun channels. And, go out there, throw out your advertisements, and it basically needs to be the line of, if you think you can shoot, come play the game.
I would say that. I would say that.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. I would say what Ben Steger's doing. I mean, honest to goodness, I mean, Ben Steger, I mean, he's actually because he's teaching people across the entire spectrum. He's going to a lot of those tactical communities.
Literally.
And he's showing those people like, look, and this is, I mean, at the end of the day, this is the one big thing that I kind of try and tell people this all the time, because you'll have some of the folks that will come in to the new shooters from the tactical crowd and things like that, like Army guys, Leo, whatever. And I always tell them the same thing. Like, shooting is shooting and tactics is tactics. I mean, your ability to shoot a gun well and your ability to do the tactical side of it, those things complement each other, but there is a skill set that is involved with shooting. And USPSA will teach you shooting. It'll teach you shooting really frickin' well. It's not going to teach you how to clear a house. It'll never do that. But in learning how to shoot, it'll give you the understanding and knowledge that you can then go into that tactical situation and not have to worry if your shooting is actually on par.
Right.
Well, no tactics survive without skill. That's the thing. Is like, you could be the most tactical person and have the plan for everything and know how to do the technique to do everything, but if you have no skill, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The
other part is too.
You have grenades.
Grenades are highly effective, and pointing barrels right onto people and pulling the trigger, highly effective. As we know, proximity negates skill. So the closer you are, the less you need it.
That's the LCR.
But the other part too. The other part too is like when people bring up like the tactics or whatever like that. Like almost no tactics are used on an individual basis. Like if you talk about like clearing a house, like Jared thinks of that as like a team. If you think about clearing your house or something like that as an individual, like it's probably never going to happen. But like look out from the outside of the room and like scan as much as you can, and then like the spot that you can't go into, that's where you'd enter and point the gun. Like rinse and repeat. You might do all right. But the one thing that you absolutely need is like skills, hard skills. And USPSA is the greatest place to produce hard pistol skills in the world. You don't need to go to a class. You could go there and just hang out with a bunch of guys and learn a couple of different things, and you'd be all right. And the other part is too is like the things that I've learned from like a lot of the great like pistol shooters like who were LE or military, like Langdon and Proctor.
Bob Vogel
is Bob Vogel.
Check out his.
I'm
not going to do it.
Horn Dog Magoo.
Yeah. Whether you spent 1 year shooting USPSA or 19, it's
at least 19. She said it was 19.
At least
it's 19. Just doing what people do, you know.
Yeah, you just go for.
I don't know, dude. The thing that
USPSA I would say this. Those shooters came into USPSA and their first few matches
they came into something.
They got obliterated, and they went back and instead of saying like, well, this doesn't meet the tactical criteria that I would want it, and so like there's a reason why I didn't do well. They went like, oh, this is where like all the super good people are. This is where I need to be. This is where I need to be the best.
I think in that regard, with my new shooter, when I have, because I'll have National Guard guys and things like that. I mean, I had one that came to the match, and I always tell them I always try and tell them the same thing. I'm like, just that, right? You know, this is a game, and there's shooting and there's tactics, and it's a different world. And I would never try to teach you tactics. But what I always point out to them is like, you're going to see people here that, I mean, this game is filled with autistic people who, like, the gun that's their entire worldview, and they just live it. They love it. That's all they do.
Ask Robert.
And there you go. See, and some people are actually really good at it. But
yeah,
for you to try and judge your experience level today based on what you see somebody else doing is not even remotely fair. Because, and the thing that people like the new like the law enforcement guys that'll come to the match and stuff like that, in the course of 4 stages, you will literally watch them improve like substantially. And it's the craziest thing. And you're never going to get the tactical crowd like all of them. And I think the dumbest thing that USPSA does is try to outreach to them, because there are certain people who you could like, hey, we'll give you flashlights because you've been telling us if you could just run flashlights that you'd come shoot USPSA, and then you gave them flashlights.
We'll give you leg straps, flashlights.
They never showed up.
Yeah, and they did show up, Robert. They did show up. They just brought competition 2011s with them because that's what they wanted in the first place. But you will never bring the hiders.
Oh,
you will
that's
never
true.
bring the people. You will never bring the people who would rather talk about something than doing something, or would rather say like how good they are versus actually having to compete and then like see it. Like how many people would you see come out to a handgun match like back in the day thinking like, oh, I was in the Army. I'm going to come out of the Army and I'm going to go shoot this pistol class. And they go out to like a UDPL match and like get waxed by like an overweight 30-year-old. And then they'd be like, well, this is, well, I'm much, and then they'd say shit like, I'm much better with a rifle, and be like, yes, dummy, everyone's better with a rifle. It's a fucking rifle. You should be better with a rifle. But like, that's what happens. And then they go away. But the other part too, but there wasn't like a bunch of videos showing what competition shooting was. Now they can go on YouTube and see like the best of the best and be intimidated and stay away from it. Because if you pop on YouTube and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch a competition video, and then you get to watch Charlie Cox and Hunter Constantine shoot a stage, you're just like, Charlie supposedly sucks, and he's way better than I would be if I showed up there. And so, like, then they vamoose out of the sport. Like, you're never going to get them. You're never going to get the people who aren't afraid of looking like trash.
Don't worry about bringing new people in. Worry about making a solid product and making that product better. Do not worry about bringing new people in. Make your product better, and the people will come because it's a better product, and it's fun, and it's enjoyable, and people will come if it's fun and enjoyable. If it's not fun and it's not enjoyable, nobody comes, everybody's sad, then you end up with a rash, and it's not a great time. Nobody likes it.
It's true.
Yep.
It's fair.
Yep. You got to make your product, like Jared said, hot, young Mexican women in Chick-fil-A.
That's definitely what Jared said. Because we know that Chick-fil-A is the young whites, not the Mexicans.
No.
This is factually correct. As soon as
they turn 23, I don't understand what you're saying to me. Go back to your country. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
my
saying.
Pleasure.
You and Leo DiCaprio there, Tommy.
Hey, he's 25. Like he's playing to the old timers. Thanks for listening, downloading, subscribing. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Remember, please take your firearm safety while handling your firearms through stages. Take that under consideration. Put that in your little noggin this week and say, you know what? I'm going to be extra safe for my club and for the sport and for yourself. Take a little pride and ownership in firearm safety this week. And do that. Download, delete, download, delete, download, delete, download. Listen, get those numbers up. We appreciate you guys. For Robert Wyatt and Jared Stapp, I'm Tom Nelson. Bidding you peace, love, and soul as we depart into the open waters of the Sea of Life on a little tugboat we like to call the Paracast.
Good night, everybody.
Doot doot.
And